Hello, what is going on, guys? Hockey Guy 1 here. Welcome to my review of The Jungle Book 2016. So, The Jungle Book 2016 is directed by Jon Favreau and stars Neil Sethi, Bill Murray, Ben Kingsley, Idris Elba, Lupita Nyong'o, Scarlett Johansson, and Christopher Walken. So, the story is about Mowgli, who is being hunted by this tiger named Shere Khan, and has to get to the man village before he ends up getting hunted by him. So I do like how this movie does kind of do a new take on the story from the original, which makes it a bit different from it, and which I kind of like how they do that because it makes it a bit better than the remake. It is a remake, so it does make sense that it's a bit different, and it's pretty well executed for what it is, and it's pretty well done. The second act is definitely the best part of the plot, as it does is moving along really well. And it has a bunch of scenes that moves along the plot really well, and as well as a lot of the scenes with Baloo in this one, and it does a pretty good job with those, and it definitely is the best part of the plot because it's the only one that's really that good. Mowgli's character is done a bit different in this one than the original. Like he does develop very well with the jungle, and I do like how they do that. And as well as his decision at the end to stay with the jungle actually makes sense, and that is a different ending from the original. And this one actually makes sense, as he did want to be in the jungle the entire time, and so he ended up developing to become a real man and then stay in the jungle, which makes sense to me, and it's pretty well done. And Shere Khan is a very ruthless and intimidating villain, and he does kind of kill off a wolf. It makes him pretty intimidating, and his intentions to go after Mowgli make sense, as he did get attacked by a human and doesn't really want to be around a man cub, and that actually makes sense for what it is, as it does make him a pretty good villain, and then it is definitely written almost as well as he is in the original, honestly. The visuals are really fantastic. Like looking at the CGI, they made Baloo look like a real bear, which I really like it, how Disney does do the realistic style animation for these remakes, as it does make them look like a real life animals. Especially Bagheera as well, looks like a real panther, and has done a very good job of that. And as well as the monkeys and all the animals in the jungle, honestly, look very realistic. And as well as the looks of the jungle in this movie looks really great, and very impressive how they did that, as each tree does look very realistic, as most of this was filmed in front of a green screen, and it does look really realistic how they made the jungle look. As for acting, Neil Sethi is really the only one that is really doing actual acting in this, and he does a pretty good job for a kid. The rest are voice acting, and they all do pretty good. Bill Murray does do a pretty good job as Baloo, who does kind of sound like it doesn't sound like it is in the original, but it still does a pretty good job for what he does. And as well as Ben Kingsley as Bagheera is pretty good in his role, as well as pretty much the entire cast does pretty good in their roles, and actually feels like their character, and does a pretty good job. And especially Idris Elba as Shere Khan is really great, as he does deliver the line. It's really great, as he's the character for the most part, and it's really good with how intimidating he delivers the lines. Then the cinematography, for the most part, is pretty good. I mean, there are a few 3D shots that I didn't really like in this, but for the most part, there are a decent amount of shots that actually work for this movie. Like, there are a bunch of camera shots showing Mowgli in there that actually work, and actually is pretty good, and as well as the shots thrown, everything in the jungle is pretty well done, pretty well shown, and they do a pretty good job with the camera angles in this movie. With that said, this movie is not a masterpiece. There are plenty of negatives with this. Like, the first act did feel a bit rushed and wasn't very good. And like it didn't really have enough exposition in this movie to me. Yes, it does kind of just go straight to him in the wolf pack, and I think they need a bit more exposition to that. And how he just illustrated it, and just how he knows all the stuff with the wolves. I do think they need a little bit of that, but not a lot. And then the third act as well felt a little rushed, like the climax is kind of a chasing. And I feel like that was well more executed in the original. This one I didn't really feel like it executed it very well. And the only part of the third act I really liked was the ending. Is the only part of the third act I really liked, but other than that, it's pretty rushed and not very good. And the pacing in this movie is just really bad. I mean, the film drags a lot because of the filler in it, and to end just doesn't really make any sense. Like the car scene in this movie, and I mean, it's different from the original, which is fine, but it doesn't really work in this one because it just feels like more exposition that was pretty badly timed, and it didn't really make any sense for it to be in that scene specifically, and it was kind of badly timed to me. Bagheera wasn't that bad, but honestly, there are parts of his characters that are pretty bad. Like I do feel like because the leader, he's kind of more selfish for the most part, and his development isn't as good in this movie as it is in the original because of how selfish he kind of feels in this. And it doesn't really make any sense that he randomly changes his mind in this, but that's just me. And I also don't really think there's that much of Tuvalu's character in this movie. I mean, he's just basically afraid of height, and then his relationship with Mowgli wasn't very good in this. It's like the only really parts that really was that good to me and made sense for the relationship was where he saved him. But other than that, there isn't really much to this relationship between him and Mowgli. Like it does kind of make him put down this beehive, which doesn't really make any sense to develop a friendship. And our friendship's just not very well done in this movie, as it feels more forced in this movie. Then Bare Necessities is just really bad in this version. I mean, it's just horribly sung by Bill Murray and Neil Sassy in this, and it's just not very good in this version. I really just didn't like the way it was sung, as it does sound really terrible. Well, it doesn't really sound like they really know how to sing that much, and I feel like it just wasn't very good, and it could have been much better for sure with better singing. So overall, The Jungle Book 2016 is average, just mediocre at best, and it isn't really anywhere near the original. And I'm gonna give The Jungle Book 2016 a 6 out of 10. So that was my review of The Jungle Book 2016. What are your thoughts on The Jungle Book 2016? Tell me in the comments below. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.